perhaps the most common misconception about the Reformation is the idea that the Reformation was confronting moral abuses and corruptions of the time, and that's it. So simply, things had got a bit grubby in Rome, and Luther and the Reformers were fed up and wanted things to be done in a purer, more correct way. And that simply doesn't wash with what the Reformation was. And if you believe that, you will think the Reformation is something really to be consigned to history. But it doesn't work, for you see, just before the Reformation, thousands would flock in Florence to hear Savonarola and his sermons castigating the Pope for his immorality. And Pope Alexander VI was a profoundly immoral Pope. Everyone seemed to enjoy that. People laughed when Dante put 2 popes in the 8th circle of hell in his Inferno. That didn't seem to cause a ripple. Everyone thought, yes, there are priests who drink too much before Mass and there are corrupt old popes. But Luther and the Reformers were not seeking to have the way things were done better. It was not, let's sort ourselves out and give the church a bit of a clean and a scrub. They were saying, no, the heart of God's message is we cannot sort ourselves out. What we need is a rescue. And so rather than telling the church we should purify ourselves, the Reformers preached Christ as a saviour who rescues those who cannot sort themselves out. And therein lies the difference between the misunderstanding of the Reformation and what the Reformers were actually teaching. And there's a way that Luther put it in a very early disputation of his, right at the beginning of the Reformation. He said, sinners are loved not because they make themselves attractive. Sinners are attractive because they are loved. That is an entirely different message to a let's sort ourselves out. And that is precisely why the message of the Reformation, which in those words of Luther sounds so contemporary, the message of the Reformation is entirely contemporary. Here's a message for those who think that by sorting themselves out, they can make themselves more attractive to God, to others. Here's a message that with God, it's the other way around. You're attractive because you're loved.